Salutations! Hit Point back at the driver's seat alongside Jiro Ishii of visual novel 428 Shibuya Scramble and 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors as supervisor, with perhaps the most wildly different and one of the tougher of these games to date, in a zombie apocalypse setting for raging Bytes, again with a Y for some reason. Citing the pixel graphics, maybe? Story starts off with a news report on TV talking about cosmic rays from a supernova on astronauts heading to Saturn. Sounds very grindhouse plot-wise. Humans trek in a foreign area, knowingly or unknowingly tamper with something they shouldn't have. They come back carrying a virus for everyone on Earth. Government cover-up. It's like the zombie trope Bible. By the time you get to playing the game yourself, already on the TV, all hell is broken loose and someone comes in all spooked telling you,
"Pork chop sandwiches! Oh shit! Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? Go! Get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot! Fuck, we're all dead! Get the fuck out!"
The female you control, Barbara, is told about the dream-walking corpse syndrome that's affecting people. While that goes down, immediately afterwards, your main character, police officer Ben, wakes up from a hospital bed after a wreck, apparently a whole 28 days later. After the fact, in 1978, call button works, but of course no one is answering, so off you go alone to investigate through the linear areas. So another game that's not my usual, but it has RPG mechanics in it. Eventually you run into Barbara, going around some levels with her as your healer. There's the reporter Helen looking to uncover what's exactly going on. And finally, about 2/3 of the game done, Harry from the military. So yeah, a 4-character party. I missed it so. You have ranged weapons that require ammo of 3 types for pistols, revolvers, and shotguns, and some melee saved for when the slowly shambling zombies get right up in front of the screen. It knocks the enemy back a little bit, or a lot, depending on the weapon you use, but you will take some damage yourself if the melee isn't a killing shot. Each weapon having a percentage of the health you'll lose, along with the power of the weapon. Later chapters bring in tougher zombies that don't need to close in to attack, like zombie police with guns to shoot at you when their turn comes up. You'll need to do some old survival horror item collecting and even hoarding for bullets and serums to heal yourself. Each character does have their own unique skill. For Ben, it's throwing stones, which is basically an infinite distance attack to conserve your ammo, until you can load up your party with other infinite distance attacks you find later in the game, like darts and throwing knives. Barbara's a free heal, not as effective as a serum, of course, which uses her turn, the lesser heal. Serums, anyone can use to heal, 5 to revive someone from the dead, and you can use multiple to keep everyone's health up before their turn comes up. So you can just mash serums to fully heal, and then do another thing to use up your turn. I've had a few bad scrapes where a boss one-shots a party member up close, so hoard up. Helen strengthens a character's attack, which, once I got her equipped with another infinite distance weapon, I never used it again. And Harry's freebie uses stun grenades, which can also damage and knock targets prone a 1/4 of the time, taking their turn away. Each character can be outfitted with 1 melee weapon and 2 distance weapons, and you can switch between distance weapons in battle for no cost. So you can decide what you do before you attack. There's the R1 button when you need to dash outside of battle. Just don't use it all up in one go, or you'll be winded and have to wait around until your stamina fills back up. The survival horrorness of this game has it so you may have to sneak around out of zombie sight to not trigger them, since one of the menu tutorials I looked up said that other zombies nearby can run into a fight that you walk into a zombie and encounter with, and it says up to 20 enemies in one fight can take place. I don't know if that's true. I never tested that out. Probably a bad idea to even try. Considering this is more of a survival horror that plays like an RPG with every encounter, you need to play it as such. Like I said, conserve when you can now, so you're prepared for later, for the boss fights, which will also lead me to the Platinum Trophy Guide. Whew. You'll actually need 2 whole playthroughs to platinum this one. I'd argue 3, because the first one you'll be avoiding as many random encounters as possible. Why? The Million Score Trophy. Here's why I believe Xbox Achievements listed this as a 6 out of 10, 100%. This pain-in-the-ass million score trophy. You'll increase your score collecting items from places and dead zombies, that is, if said zombie isn't mostly dead and would count as an encounter. Thankfully not random. Issue is, every encounter with an enemy, your score drops significantly, so I had to redo 50% of the game just to get the million, because I hadn't realized just how much score you lose on encounters, so I had to start over, scrap my first run. Now, my second run, I am saving often and reloading from the PS4 menu every time I got caught before the fight concludes, and auto-saves, because A, you lose points, and B, if you come out the fight victorious, game auto-saves, so I'm trying to avoid that. Side missions completion boosts the score tremendously, so I'd argue to get this one out of the way. There are 4 of these side missions to be on the lookout for. I got the million by maybe doing like the first 2 and just grabbing item after item, avoiding zombies like the plague unless it is a side quest, in which case they reward you for that. So yeah, once I got that out of the way, my third and fourth run, you fight everything and try to keep it to one enemy on the screen at a time to thin the herd, and hopefully they'll drop serums and bullets when you win. And that's not even counting the XP you gain, so I guess, which gives you, I don't know if it makes you stronger. It's one thing I noticed as a factor. Well, my second run of trying to kill some zombies with Ben's Rock, though, didn't do as much damage as my first drop one, because I was at a lower level, avoiding a body count. It also gives you more health. You gotta do this on Nightmare difficulty anyways to get that done and in the rear view. So yeah, no cakewalking it through the first difficulty like most. You'll need to select the third difficulty, Nightmare, for most of one run, and then Hard for the other run. But fear not, for I have a tip to show you on how you can do this Renoa style, and that requires grinding. Take it away, Renoa. Grinding in a survival horror game? RPG? Well, for a while it seemed like you couldn't do that until I found out this little exploit here by Chapter 7, the police station. First time visiting this, going for supplies. About here you'll get chased around into this and get cut off from one of your other guys over there, so now you gotta make your way around. Continue on without him. I think early chapters wouldn't let me do this, because they're all considered like one area. Like even if you go in and out of buildings, there's no like loading screen in between as you saw me change areas. This police station's a lot bigger, so I believe because of that, enemies respawn. Alright, I goofed there and got 2 instead of 1, but it's okay. They'll just let me show this off quicker. Alright, so I'm going to kill these 2 off, and I'll meet you when I'm done. Okay, those enemies are gone now. They're spent. And again, normally, I think in early chapters, there was no, like, loading screen in between rooms. It was all one big chapter, one big area. You could, like, go in and out of buildings, and the zombies that you fought would still be gone. Not the case here. Once again, I believe it has to do with the loading of the room again. I found this like a little later and further down, like another room. I was like, oh, wait a minute, they came back? Shit, I can respawn? I can respawn enemies and... Yep, boom, there they are again. On top of all that, you'll want to scour and find everything. All weapons, items, notes. You can't just find these in any treasure chest lying around, and there's no map to work with either. With this linear game, you may miss a thing or two. Thankfully, the aforementioned Xbox achievements for one of the trophies offers a link to a list of the items you need to look out for on a, I believe it was a Steam page or something, or a PSN something. It also details the 4 side quests you'll need to complete for the trophies as well, and there's even a Catching Up with Kemco Classic, where you can reload from beating the final boss with continue and go for the other ending. There's a good and bad ending. I did this on hard difficulty after the Nightmare and was able to spend a lot of bullets to body 2 to 3 zombies in a fight in comparison. So yeah, once you complete like Nightmare mode, you do the second one in hard mode. You definitely find it a little bit easier. But you still want to conserve, because the bosses can still wreck you, especially when they get up close, which you don't want. So keep as much bullets as you can and just daka. Overall, this game will ask much of you, requiring the multiple playthroughs if you're shooting for the platinum. It's certainly not a boring slog of a game, but I personally would have preferred a means to sneak attack and get the drop on zombies. Like, I get behind one of them and it triggered the fight normally. If you're going to go RPG with the fights in this regard, why not give me this preemptive attack option to weaken or even destroy them outright before they notice you and get bonus points for basically stealth killing in any drops they might have given you. Make it so you're guaranteed bonus XP and drops. Like, just reward players for being smart is all I'm saying. Sure, it might have made a hard but not ball-bustingly so difficult easier. I just hope it would be the case for that million points trophy. Would have made that less of a headache. I know no Kemco RPG I've played so far has done it because they're all random encounters. This is the first game I've played that's been like, oh, they're out here. And again, it just seemed like a huge oversight in my opinion not to include that if you're going to change up how the encounters work. To add to the annoyance that this is not being an EXE create joint, by the third and fourth playthrough, you've seen all the scenes play out. And yes, you have to do those playthroughs from the beginning all over again, and there is no new game plus and no scene skip or fast forward option. So you're just mashing to move on with the game faster. It's not a super long game, especially on later runs where you know what to expect. So yeah, to sum up my review on the game, they emphasized revolutionary and forgot to include evolutionary. It's still an interesting diversion, nowhere near as bullshit levels of difficult as Chrome Wolf, which, as I've shown, no random battles constantly, but you are going to grind. But again, you'll speedrun on hard in comparison. I've lost a party member once or twice on my first run, overestimating my chances at tanking close-range zombie attacks, but never a game over. The game tends to take longer to load between battles. I've had some issue with this and returning to the overworld walking part when playing for a long time, so here's another tip. I've even had the game crash or two. I can remedy that by saving, quitting out completely back to the PS home menu, the dash, and then starting the game from there again. Even with those errors, this game is actually pretty memorable in just how different it is from any other Kemco RPG I've played. I'd actually say give this a try yourself, but don't say I didn't warn you. It's definitely an A for effort, but there's a lot of like, Next time on Catching Up with Kemco, Ridion? I skipped the item creation games you guys did in a Meridian Tavern Story and a blacksmith game that looked like the same thing. I'm going to give their next game a try. It just looks like just a strategy RPG called Cross Tales. Tails. So until next time, take care, and thanks for watching.